Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to this next guide on Vault DPS, this time for a two-man squad specifically. We're just going to be running through, like usual, one run, and I'll just sort of be talking over the top and going through what's happening and what you should be doing. But first of all, we're just going to run through the build here. So on our Vault, I'm just running sort of the usual, what I would usually use for my other DPS video, so if you haven't seen that already, do go back and have a look as I cover this build in more detail there. Again, if you do have prime sure-footed, you might want to put that there instead of handspring, but it doesn't matter as long as you kind of stick to this build here, that's absolutely fine. And then on our Rubico, slightly different build to last time. I've replaced the primed cryo rounds here with a prime chamber. This is just for kill shots and also first limbs, water shields, that kind of thing. Really helps boost your damage. And if you've got teammates who are taking down shields consistently anyway, then that shouldn't be a problem at all. So this is the build that I like to run on this. And then for secondary, this is your personal preference. You might want to use this to take out Vomvalists. And then for our melee, we want to be using Sarpa. This is to strip the armor on the Eidolon. Again, this is mainly going to be for when we come to do the kill shot. It's going to let us basically one-shot every single time, so make sure that you have this on, and make sure that you also have Shattering Impact on. Everything else you should put around speed and making this as quick as possible. So yeah, try doing that. And then for our focus tree here, we're running Unairu for our Unairu Wisp, which we're going to be giving to our teammate. And that's pretty much the sum total of it, guys. What I would say as well, as per usual on your Sentinel, make sure that you're not running Vacuum so that you don't steal all of the wisps from your teammates, and also try and make sure that you put on your vigilante mods onto your Sentinel's weapon. This is going to stack with the vigilante mods that we've got on our Rubico and help us to hit really high. Well, basically, it's going to give us a higher chance to hit leveled up crits, which is always nice. So, other than that, the only other things that you really need to know about are going to be the amp that we're using. So for this, we're going to be using a 777 amp. And this is basically just for the Clamora Prism here, where we're going to be using this to clean up Vomvalists and get them into our lures. And then past that point, all that we're going to be worrying about is our Itzal, which is just whatever you want, really. I would recommend putting on Cold Snap, helps to farm the Vomvalists. And then on your Parazon to combine with this when you're getting lures and you're in your lure gathering stage. Do make sure that you've got runtime on, and also it's sometimes nice to have Untraceable on as well. So that's basically the build, guys. We're going to run through this guide here just to give you guys sort of a brief overview of what's going to be happening. So basically in a two-man squad, it's very similar to a full squad, except from the DPS has the responsibility of gathering and controlling lures. The VS player is simply trying to consistently hit critical hits on the shield and keeping his Void Strike stacks up so that you can go through the run nice and fast. I think the guide that you're about to see, or the run that you're about to see, is around the 6-minute 59 for last Hydralisk limb. It could have been faster, there are mistakes and you will see them. So it's not a perfect run, but it should show all of the things that you need to know in order to do this in a two-man squad. So what we'll do, we'll hop into the plains now, and yeah, we'll take you through one run. Alright guys, so we're just coming out of gate here, and this is going to be a very similar start to a full squad run, where we're going to come over, we're going to grab the lure using our fast charge method, get the Vomvalists in there, and then we're going to head over to the spot that our teammate has marked where the other Vomvalists are, and then we're going to head over to him. Now we've got a bit of time before we get over there, so what I'm actually going to do here is grab another lure on the way over. You don't have to do this, it's just that there was one on the way there, and I was pretty close by, so I grabbed it anyway. So we're going to get Wisps down now, and then get our buffs ready.
Remember he complained about my missing wisps.
So right now we're just going to go in between each limb. We're going to go ahead and collect all of our lures. We only need 3 for Terrorist, so make sure that you have 3 lures including your charged one when you go ahead and do this. Also make sure that when you're going to collect your lures in between each limb that you park your lure, your blue lure, just so that it remains tethered to the Eidolon and the Eidolon doesn't teleport when you're going to collect lures. And as soon as he goes down here, we're going to get underneath him, and we're going to pick up all of the Vomvalists that spawn, trying to charge, if possible, all 3 of the lures that we have If all 3 of the lures don't get charged, it's not a problem. Just leave the lure that is uncharged underneath the Eidolon, so park it there, ready for when he stands up, so that when the Vonvalists spawn, they can go straight in. So we're going to go ahead now and try and get everything in here. And as you can see, we've got 1 lure that is still uncharged, so I'm going to park it. And I'm now going to go ahead and collect all of the rest of the lures that we're going to need. So we're going to need another 5 in total, so that's 1. That's 2. That's 3. That's 4, and the last one is going to be over here. That's 5. So now we're going to head back. We're going to land a bit further away just so our lures don't teleport directly onto the Eidolon. And then as soon as he stands up, we're going to start trying to charge these last 2 lures here. Make sure that you pick up everything that you've parked before you head over to the shrine. Get your buffs ready again. And now we can use our second ability on Volt, get some speed, and we'll head over. So once we get here, I would recommend not parking your lures here just because they tend to it tends to get a bit tricky knowing which are parked and which are on hold when you've got this many to carry. And what we're actually going to do now is we're going to switch over to our Sarper, like that. And once we put our shard in, we're going to switch back over to our Rubico in order to get a vigorous swap buff for the first limb of Gantalist here, like so. So what we're going to do now is basically the same as you would see in a normal run. We're going to just put down wisps for our teammate. We're going to use our rolling guard to avoid damage taken from the energy spike. And we're just going to keep knocking the Eidolon backwards and forwards. If you haven't seen the previous guide on this, I would recommend going back and looking at it as I go into a bit more detail on it there. Also look at previous guides as well from previous years, as it's basically a similar concept the whole way through. We're just going to keep him in one spot. Make sure we keep putting down wisps for our teammate. We get a bit stuck here, but fortunately we do have enough damage to take down the limbs. It's worth noting, guys, that given all of the damage buffs that we've got on here, yeah, you shouldn't have any problems taking down the limbs. You've got your your shock trooper on your first ability. You've got Eclipse on your 4th, and you've also you can also shoot through the shield if you really want to. And if that still isn't working for you, you can strip the Eidolon's armor using your Sarper, as I often do. And then if that doesn't work, you can use Vigorous Swap as well on each limb, which you'll see me doing in a sec here. There you go. So yeah, we're just going to keep him bouncing backwards and forwards. Now he's onto his last limb here, so as soon as that pops, we're going to do the same as we do on the Terrorist. We're going to get underneath him, and we're going to try and get as many charges in the lures as possible. And then following that, we're going to try and go and look for some extra Vonvalists. We're not actually going to be able to charge enough of the lures here to get the capture. So as soon as these are in the lures here, like so, we're going to get into our Arcwing, and we're going to head over to our Vonvalist spawning points. Now, unfortunately, in this instance, we do get a bit unlucky. There aren't any clear Vonvalist spawns happening, and my teammate is helping me look as well. So, unfortunately, this is a bit tricky, but he does spot some in the end, so I go ahead and pick those up. And then since we're running out of time here, I decide to go back to the Gantalist, ready for him to stand up. As once he stands up, we're going to get a whole load of new Vonvalists spawning underneath him, which we can then use to charge the remainder of our lures. If you are on 6th run, then at this point you do want to be spending a bit more time trying to charge these lures. If you don't have all of your lures charged at this point, do bear in mind that you are going to need to get those charged. Because obviously once daytime comes, it's going to be a bit of a hassle trying to find Vonvalists, and I don't believe they spawn after sunrise. So once again, we're going to come back to the shrine, teleport our lures in, get the loot over here, and then we're going to switch over to the Sarper as we did before, so that once we put in our shard, we can swap over to the Rubico, and then get that vigorous swap buff for the first limb of Hydralist, like so. And this is much the same as Gantalist, guys. So we're just going to be hitting wisps down here, going backwards and forwards. And that's basically the sum total of it, guys. It's really down to the coordination between you and your VS player. Your VS player also needs to be confident, and I will be doing a video where it's sort of me playing the VS role as well, just so you can see sort of, you know, how consistent you can actually hit crits on shields and take them down for your teammates. But yeah, basically it's just going to be a bit of backwards and forwards from here, guys. So kind of the benefits, I guess, of running in a 2-man squad as opposed to a 3-man or a 4-man is, first of all, you only have to put 2 shards in the shrine. So that saves you a whole load of time right there. You also only have to load in 1 extra person on top of the host. So that actually saves a lot of time in loading as well. So as long as your VS player is competent and they can take down shields with relative ease, then theoretically a 2-man run should be a lot faster than the other runs that you can do. Which is why I'm doing this guide. Some other tips and tricks that you can use, guys. What you'll notice, hopefully in this next one, although we are coming up to the last limb here, unfortunately, but the method that you can use to remain still when you are rolling in order to proc rolling guard. If you roll forward and then slide backwards immediately afterwards, you will stay in one position, which is really handy when you're trying to sort of navigate your way around and making sure that you're not kind of rolling into water or rolling through the limb of the Eidolon. So that's one tip you can use. But basically, guys, this is pretty much it. It's going to be a bit of backwards and forwards the whole time. You're going to be, really doing exactly the same stuff that you're doing in a 3-man or a 4-man squad. You just need to be aware of lure management. That's the only additional thing here. The Void Strike player is going to be basically doing exactly what a VS Vault player would do. So if you haven't seen the VS Vault guide, then do go ahead and have a look at that. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this video, guys. I was a bit of an idiot there. I didn't scope the whole way in, so we didn't get a full damage buff. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this. If you have any questions or comments, or if you have any additional tips and tricks of your own, then do please let me know. Hit like and subscribe on the video, and I will catch you in the next one, guys. Thanks very much for watching.